Archie Bunker is the kind of man who can take a perfectly harmless household moment and turn it into a personal attack from the universe. And these episodes prove it with almost scientific precision. It starts with something so small it should barely register: laundry. Mike, trying to be helpful in that earnest, I'm a modern husband who contributes way, gets involved with the wash and accidentally discolors one of Gloria's bras. In any other house, this would be a shrug and a joke. In the Bunker household, it becomes Exhibit A in Archie's ongoing trial against the way things are going these days. He walks in, sees the evidence hanging there, and reacts as if the laundry room has become a battlefield where decency itself is under siege. Edith tries to smooth it over with her gentle practicality. Gloria is embarrassed. Mike tries to laugh it off. And Archie, because Archie cannot simply move through life at normal volume, starts a rant that feels like it could power a small city. But Archie's shouting isn't really about the laundry. It's about control. Because at work, a new rumor is spreading. The company is making everyone do physical exams. Archie hears physical and instantly translates it into "they're trying to get rid of me." He's not thinking about health in the modern, sensible way. He's thinking about status and survival. He's thinking about being judged, replaced, and pushed aside by younger men who have stronger backs and fewer complaints about the weather. He starts comparing himself to another older worker, insisting he's still in better shape than that guy, because Archie's version of reassurance is always relative. As long as someone else looks worse, he can pretend he's fine. Mike tries to take the conversation into big-picture territory, as he always does, turning Archie's fear into a debate about jobs, systems, fairness, and the way employers treat working people. Archie, naturally, refuses to follow him into nuance. Archie wants a simple enemy. He wants one person to blame and one argument to win. Edith floats around them like a peacekeeping angel who keeps offering tea and comfort as if beverages could neutralize ideology. The house fills with that familiar Bunker energy. The living room becomes a courtroom, the kitchen becomes a war room, and the couch becomes Archie's throne of outrage. Then comes the doctor's visit, and it's the kind of appointment Archie hates because it forces him to face something he can't argue with. The doctor tells him his blood pressure is high. The message is delivered politely, medically, and calmly. Archie hears it as an insult, not because he thinks blood pressure is a lie, but because the diagnosis suggests he's not invincible. He hates that idea more than he hates almost anything. The doctor recommends rest and relaxation for the weekend, a simple plan that might work for most people, but for Archie Bunker, it's like telling a tornado to just take a deep breath. Edith, determined to do the right thing, turns the house into a quiet zone. She tiptoes. She fluffs pillows like she's preparing the bed for royalty. Gloria tries to be sweet. Mike tries to cooperate, and Archie spends the entire time irritated by their kindness. This is Archie's signature contradiction. He wants attention, but he wants it on his terms. He wants care, but he wants it disguised as respect. The more everyone tries to keep him calm, the more he senses that they're treating him like a fragile old man, and nothing spikes Archie's blood pressure faster than someone implying he has blood pressure. Naturally, the weekend that is supposed to be peaceful gets hijacked by the one topic that can set this family on fire instantly: the baby. Gloria is pregnant, very pregnant, overdue pregnant, and the baby is essentially running the household without even being born. The mere mention of baby names ignites a battle. Mike and Gloria talk about honoring Mike's father with the name Stanislaus, and Archie reacts as if they've suggested naming the child Cement Mixer. He starts imagining the future with the intensity of a man writing an epic tragedy. He pictures kids teasing the baby, teachers mispronouncing the name, employers rejecting resumes. In Archie's mind, a name isn't just a name, it's destiny, and destiny must be approved by Archie Bunker. Gloria tries to calm him down by mentioning they also considered Archie. For a moment, Archie's ego inflates like a parade balloon. He straightens up, softens his tone, and suddenly has no concerns about how names affect a child's future. Funny how that works. But then the details come out. If the name isn't exactly what Archie wants, if it's a variation, if it's not full credit and full ownership, he snaps back into outrage. The irony is almost comedic perfection. The man who must relax for his health is yelling about syllables as if the hospital itself is listening. Edith, who has been trying to keep the peace like it's her full-time job, reaches a breaking point. She's tired of the yelling, tired of the tension, tired of watching her daughter's pregnancy turn into another battlefield. In a rare moment of firmness, she makes a decision that shocks everyone. She tells Mike and Gloria to leave, at least temporarily, so Archie can rest. It's not cruel. It's not angry. It's Edith taking control. Archie is stunned because he's not used to Edith drawing a line. Edith immediately feels guilty because guilt is her default setting, but underneath the guilt is something else, pride. For once, she did what she thought was necessary, not what Archie demanded. Meanwhile, Mike and Gloria's relationship is going through a very specific kind of stress that comes with pregnancy, the blend of physical exhaustion and emotional sensitivity that turns ordinary moments into big feelings. Gloria is uncomfortable, impatient, and feeling less like herself every day. Her body doesn't feel like her own. People keep telling her what to do. Everyone has an opinion. And the closer she gets to labor, the more her emotions swing between hope, fear, frustration, and the desire to throw a pillow at someone who says, "Just relax." Mike tries to be supportive, but Mike's support often comes in the form of logic. He explains. He reassures with facts. He tries to solve feelings like they're math problems. Gloria doesn't want a lecture. She wants comfort. And that mismatch becomes sharper when jealousy enters the picture. Mike is tutoring a student named Linda Galloway, and Linda is pretty, confident, and a little too friendly. Gloria's pregnancy insecurities flare up. She starts imagining scenarios. She starts reading signs into small details. Archie, who loves nothing more than suspicion, decides he will investigate like he's a one-man detective agency with zero training and unlimited confidence. Archie's plan is classic Archie. He invites Mike over, pours wine, and sets up a man-to-man conversation designed to make Mike confess something. Archie believes wine loosens tongues and reveals truth. What actually happens is both funny and unexpectedly sincere. Mike, under the influence, doesn't become a villain. He becomes even more honest. He admits Linda flirted. He admits he felt uncomfortable. He admits there was a moment where temptation existed in the abstract way temptation does when someone tries to charm you. But then he admits the most important part. He left. He chose Gloria. He chose the baby. He chose the life he's building, even when it's stressful and messy. Archie, in the middle of hearing this confession, does what Archie does best when alcohol is involved. He collapses in his sleep like someone pulled his plug. The plan to expose Mike ends with Archie snoring. But the truth is revealed anyway, and it's not the scandal Archie wanted. It's a reminder that Mike is trying. He's imperfect, but he's committed. Gloria's jealousy softens, and for a brief moment, it feels like the family might get a calm stretch. Then the overdue pregnancy takes center stage again. Gloria becomes increasingly uncomfortable, counting days and contractions like they're personal insults. Mike, determined to be prepared, goes all in on childbirth coaching. He has breathing techniques. He has instructions. He has supplies. He acts like he's training for an event that has rules, schedules, and predictable outcomes. Gloria, on the other hand, is living in a reality where nothing feels predictable, and Mike's coaching starts to feel like management rather than love. She snaps. He tries to stay calm. She snaps again, and the tension builds because they're both scared in different ways. There's a baby shower with the usual mix of sweetness and chaos. Friends excited, gifts piled high, jokes flying, and Gloria riding emotional waves that shift in seconds. Mike tries to keep everything smooth, but the more he hears medical words, the more he panics. At one point, he mishears an announcement and thinks it involves their doctor, and his brain instantly screams emergency. He gets so anxious he almost hyperventilates, and suddenly the pregnant woman and her friend are calming down the husband like he's the one in labor. It's funny, but it also shows something real. Mike's fear is love in a nervous costume. Then comes the night that is supposed to be their quiet moment. Mike and Gloria go out for dinner, trying to steal one last slice of normal before their lives change forever. For a while, it works. They reminisce. They talk about the future. They smile like a young couple standing on the edge of something huge. And then, of course, the contractions start again. Gloria feels it. Mike sees it. The romantic glow turns into emergency lighting. Mike goes into action, trying to call the doctor, trying to call the family, trying to keep Gloria calm, while also trying not to collapse under his own panic. And this is where the situation becomes pure sitcom poetry. Mike ends up in a phone booth, trapped in a tiny space, juggling numbers, struggling to reach the right people, getting overwhelmed by the absurdity of trying to manage the biggest moment of his life through a cramped piece of glass and a handset. The tighter he tries to control it, the more ridiculous it becomes. The stakes are real, but the mechanics are chaotic, and Mike becomes the perfect symbol of modern anxiety, prepared for everything except reality. At the same time, Archie is dealing with his own separate mess at the lodge, caught up in a performance situation that feels outdated and uncomfortable. But when word comes that Gloria is going into labor, Archie's priorities snap into place. Whatever else he's worried about, his pride, his reputation, lodge politics, suddenly doesn't matter. He rushes, fumbles, tries to get out of there, and for all his bluster, you see the truth. Archie loves his daughter. Archie loves that unborn grandchild. He may complain about everything, but when it's real, he moves. Across these episodes, the heart of the story isn't just the jokes. It's the way fear shows up in different costumes. Archie's fear looks like anger. Mike's fear looks like overpreparation. Gloria's fear looks like mood swings and impatience. Edith's fear looks like excessive gentleness, until it suddenly transforms into strength. They're all afraid of change, afraid of losing control, afraid of failing each other, afraid of what comes next. And yet, even when they fight, they keep circling back toward one another because that's what family does in this house. They argue like it's a sport, they overreact like it's a tradition, but when the big moment arrives, they show up. And that's the real punchline beneath the chaos. No matter how loud Archie gets, no matter how anxious Mike becomes, no matter how overwhelmed Gloria feels, and no matter how much Edith tries to hold the world together with kindness, this family is moving into a new chapter whether they're ready or not. A baby is coming. The household is changing. And in the middle of all the noise, there's a surprisingly warm truth. When it matters most, they stumble into the right place together.